Saturn transiting into the sign of Pisces means that Saturn will also be aspecting the Sagittarius sign, Jupiter's other sign with its 10th aspect. So Saturn's hold on Jupiter will be complete. So based on which dignity and what placement Jupiter has in your natal chart and how you utilize those energies in the ensuing 2.5 years will be the results that will be coming by for you, and hence this is a video important for you based on Jupiter's placement in your natal chart. Hello and namaskar and adab to all my friends from your friend Astrology and Guide Irfan, once more with you from your very own channel, Astro Assurance. We have been doing a number of videos based on Saturn's transit into the Pisces sign. And the reason being is that this is going to be a long transit, a very karmic transit, because Saturn is not only getting into the Pisces sign, but also the 12th house in the Kalpurush Kundi. And hence, it is important to look at the transit of Saturn into Pisces from different perspectives. So one of the things we have already done is looked at Saturn's transit into the sign of Pisces from your rising sign. Then we did another video from your moon sign, because looking at the transit of Saturn from both the transits or both the perspectives is important. Then we also looked at how Saturn's transit into the sign of Pisces will work out for you from your placement of Saturn in your natal chart. So how Saturn is placed in your natal chart is also very important. But one of the most important perspectives or aspect that you need to see is where Jupiter is placed in your natal chart, because when Saturn transits into the sign of Pisces, it is not only going to hold one of the signs of Jupiter, but it's with its 10th aspect, the Sagittarius sign, which is the other sign ruled by Jupiter. So its hold on Jupiter is going to be complete over the next 2.5 years based on your natal position of Jupiter. So let's jump in and see from your Jupiter's placement, which means in which sign Jupiter is placed in your natal chart, what are the potential results which can come by for each of your people based on where Jupiter is placed in which sign. Now for those people who have a Aries Jupiter, which means Jupiter is placed in the sign of Aries in your natal chart. Now here there are two effects. One is when Saturn goes into the sign of Pisces, Saturn is not only going to influence the Pisces sign ruled by Jupiter, but with its 10th aspect, it is also going to influence the other sign ruled by Jupiter, which is the Sagittarius sign. So here, Jupiter's placement in your natal chart and what dignity it is in becomes very important. Because firstly, Saturn is going to get into the 12th house from Jupiter based on your natal position. Now, Jupiter placed in Aries sign is a very, very important placement, because Jupiter does very well in the three signs, which are the three trine houses in the Kalpurush Kundi, which is the first sign, which is the Aries, then the fifth sign, which is the Leo sign, and the ninth sign, which is the Sagittarius sign. So Jupiter's placement in any of these three signs is considered to be an auspicious one, a good one. So Jupiter placed in the Aries sign in your natal chart is a very, very powerful Jupiter given to you, as long as you have utilized that Jupiter. Of course, it also depends on the utility of Jupiter based on other planetary placement in your chart and whether you are using those over Jupiter. So Jupiter placed in Aries sign will be also aspecting or has been aspecting through your life with its 9th aspect, this Sagittarius sign, apart from obviously influencing or aspecting the Leo sign also with its 5th aspect, and the Libra sign, the sign of relationships, with its 7th aspect. So the potential given to people with Aries Jupiter is that you will be able to influence the 5th house results, which is the romantic results, which are the results of who you fall in love with and how you'll be able to utilize those energies. However, what the placement of Jupiter in Aries is saying that you make a wise decision even when you're falling in love, or how you deal with children, or how you deal with your investments, or how you deal with how you present yourself on the world. Because the Leo sign or the 5th house is also the house of the stage, the world stage, the platform given to you to perform. So romance, investment, children, speculative investments, all are under the aspect of Jupiter. That is one area of potential results given to you as long as you're using your Jupiter results and treating your Jupiter wisely. The second is your Jupiter's aspect, the 7th aspect, the balancing aspect on the Libra sign, how you treat relationships. and what kind of balance you are doing in your relationships and dealing with people in partnership. And the more important one perspective now with Saturn going into Pisces is Jupiter's aspecting on its own sign is Sagittarius, and Saturn also now aspecting with its 10th aspect. So this is a very karmic placement, which Saturn is saying that, see, firstly, Pisces sign is a very positive sign, and whenever any planet gets into the Pisces sign, generally it gives you positive results, it gives good results. However, based on the nature and the character of the planet, it will give results accordingly. So, based on the planet's characteristic, your Saturn getting into Pisces, which means you need to be very optimistic in your effort, in your hard work, in your ability to be organized, in your ability to be able to work harder and follow rules. Respect your seniors, respect those people who are your mentors, respect authority figures rather than get into trouble with them. And because Saturn's 10th aspect is on the Sagittarius sign, the sign of higher learning, experiential learning, if you have not learned your lesson while being in a relationship, because of Jupiter being in the sign of Aries and the 9th aspect falling in the Sagittarius sign. And Saturn, if you remember, gets exalted in the sign of Libra, the 7th house from Jupiter, the house of relationships. So if you have not learned your lesson, and if you have allowed other energies or Saturnian energies to overcome your ability to deal in relations, in partnerships, in romance, in higher learning, in education, then Saturn will have the upper hand in this transit rather than Jupiter. Okay, so what the transit of Saturn is saying is that if you have not worked hard on the ability to utilize the Jupiterian energies better, especially connected to higher learning, experiential learning, learning from your gurus, learning from your mentors, learning from seniors, then Saturn will placement and the 10th house or the 10th aspect on Sagittarius means it will be very karmic. It will be very telling. If you are not learning your lessons from Jupiter, and if Saturn comes to teach you the lessons which the Sagittarius sign represents, will be very karmic because it's the 10th aspect of Saturn on your Sagittarius sign. So this is going to be a very important placement. So you will get results accordingly. But the other placement or the other perspective is, if even in the next 2.5 years, you don't learn the lessons, you don't treat your life with more Jupiterian energies of wisdom, because see, Jupiter in Aries means it is in the Lagna of the Kalpurush Kundi. Then what will happen when Saturn transits into your Aries sign over Jupiter, over your natal Jupiter? There it will completely take control of Jupiter. It will be also taking control of Jupiter's other placements, especially relationships, for instance. So this is the time for you to correct if there are certain things which you have not done so right in your life, specifically connected to Jupiterian or utilization of Jupiterian energies, which houses Jupiter rules, where Jupiter is placed. Then this is the time for you to be very positive about it, to work hard for it, about those results, and then balance those results. Then you will be able to get much better results in this transit if you have a Aries Jupiter in your natal chart. Now, for those people who have a Taurus Jupiter, which means Jupiter is placed in the sign of Taurus in your natal chart, this is a very strong placement of Jupiter because Jupiter does very well in the second house, especially in the Taurus sign, because Jupiter is the Karaka of the second house. So the potential given to you is to expand the potential of money, of finances, of nutrition, helping the community, coming to the help of those people who are dependent on you. And the potential for you is that Jupiter will expand the money, the savings, the increments, the livelihood in your life, as long as you have learned the lesson of Jupiter and treated it wisely. Now, the 5th aspect of Jupiter is on the 6th sign, but the 5th house, the Virgo sign. So your ability to learn and get educated, because the 5th aspect is the aspect of education. If you have learned your lesson of how to treat competition, enemies, hidden enemies, and in speculative investments, in romance, and those people who are working below you. Specifically, this is more about people working below you, those people who are underprivileged, those people who you have control over, how you treat them, and loans, sicknesses, taking care of your body. For example, Jupiter in Taurus means you may neglect your health, because of which sickness comes to you, because you have not educated yourself well about how to take care of your health better. And Jupiter's ninth aspect is on that sign where Jupiter gets debilitated, which is the Capricorn sign. But this is the ninth aspect, which means in relation to work, in relation to how you are working or you're dealing with projects or your seniors. If you have not learned your lesson, because the Capricorn sign is also the 10th house of the Kal Purush Kundli, if you have not learned your lesson, if you have not learned to utilize your experiential learning, then this is a very karmic placement. And then Saturn's placement in the Pisces sign in transit will be very telling. Why? Saturn, while placed in the Pisces sign, is also not only controlling the Pisces sign which Jupiter rules, but also the Sagittarius sign by virtue of its 10th aspect. And the only aspect which Saturn is also having along with Jupiter is the aspect on the Virgo sign. So Jupiter's natal aspect is on the Virgo sign, and the Saturn's transiting 7th aspect is on the Virgo sign. So Jupiter to some extent will be able to handle or negate some results of Saturn. However, Saturn has an upper hand because of being in Pisces, which means if you have not learned the lesson of how to treat people who are working below you in sicknesses, then Saturn will be treating the areas of that house, and you will be paying for how you have not either taking care of people who work below you or your health. And this can be more connected to your nutrition also. So Saturn is asking to be more balanced over the next 2.5 years in your health with respect to how you treat people below you, how you work with your loans, how you work with the debts, how you manage them. And Saturn's 10th aspect on the Sagittarius sign in the 10th house, which Jupiter rules, which means, and because of Jupiter being placed in the Taurus sign, which means sudden results connected to money, connected to livelihood, connected to savings may also come by. So if you have been diligent, if you have been hardworking, if you have been very organized in matters of your money, then you will be able to better take care of issues, problems, challenges which suddenly come by for you when Saturn gets into the Pisces sign and aspecting your Sagittarius sign. So over the next 2.5 years, the time is given to you to be able to correct a lot of things and be very positive because Saturn is in the Pisces sign. However, if you have not learned your lesson and not ready to do your bidding over the next 2.5 years, then when Saturn gets into its debilitation sign of Aries, then there may be even more challenges for you because Saturn, when it gets into the Aries sign, then it will be aspecting your Gemini sign, or from Jupiter's perspective, the second house of income. So that can be very telling. So utilize this time based on your Jupiter's placement of working for the masses or working for larger organizations or working for people in a service-oriented role, helping people who are working under you to better manage work, helping them to become a better leader, and you taking care of them and be more diligent in your money matters if you're not being. So utilize the time to learn, and also for those people who have careers related to the 8th house, this is going to be a very good period, an auspicious period if you worked hard to be able to enhance your earnings connected to the 8th house. So overall, this is still a very balanced placement, except you need to be more diligent about your nutrition, your money, and those kind of results, ups and downs, sudden issues may come to you. However, there will be one opportunity, a sudden opportunity to rise and earn more also when Saturn gets into Pisces. Now, for those people who have a Gemini Jupiter, which means Jupiter is placed in the Gemini sign in your natal chart. Now, if Jupiter is placed in the Gemini sign in your natal chart, then Jupiter's aspect is going to be the 5th aspect on your Libra sign, the 7th aspect on your Sagittarius sign, and its 9th aspect on the Aquarius sign ruled by Saturn. However, out of these 3 aspects, the aspect of the 7th on the Sagittarius sign will be more telling, more important, because when Saturn gets into Pisces sign, Saturn with its 10th aspect will also be aspecting your Sagittarius sign. However, because Jupiter is also aspecting the Mool Trikona sign of Saturn, and Saturn will also be aspecting the Mool Trikona sign of Jupiter, so there's going to be some balance or some parivartana. However, Saturn will still have an upper hand because Jupiter is not placed in Saturn's sign but in the sign of Gemini, ruled by Mercury. It's about communication. It's about ability to work hard. It's about how you're influencing others. It's about how you're able to market yourself. Saturn getting into the sign of Pisces, which is the 10th house from where Jupiter is placed, if it's placed in your Gemini sign in your natal chart, is career connected to communication will be enhance or come under perspective or come under focus, especially ability to work with people, ability to work in partnership, ability to work with colleagues, and work with colleagues in a matter or in a manner where you are working for the department, working for the industry, working for the organization rather than for yourself. Because Saturn is getting into the Pisces sign, the natural 12th house of the Kalpurush Kundali. And Saturn is aspecting with the 10th aspect, the career aspect, the Sagittarius sign. So Jupiter's aspect on Sagittarius is negating some of the tough results that Saturn can give you. However, Saturn having the upper hand, which means Jupiter will be able to negate the 10th aspect of Saturn if it's going to be a tough aspect only to a certain extent. However, if you've really worked hard and if you're positive, the sign of Pisces is a sign of high positivity, high creativity. If you worked hard and if you've really been diligent, then Saturn's 10th aspect on the Sagittarius sign, balancing to some extent Jupiter's aspect, is going to be very good for your career, can be very good for your relations with your superiors, with authority figures, and can give you fantastic results also. Jupiter's aspect on Aquarius sign, which is the Mool Trikona sign of Saturn, which means if you learned your lesson from in your work, especially if you're working for a large organization, working in a multinational corporation, and if you've really been current to what your qualification is needed, if you're being current to what is needed by the industry, then this can be a very powerful placement. Some of you, if you've really worked hard and if you've been very good in your teamwork, then you may also get a growth, a promotion. So surely over the next 2.5 years, a very, very, very strong chance of a promotion, a growth. In your business also, if you're working in a business, because Jupiter placed in the Gemini sign, a very, very, very an auspicious period for very good enhancement in your business results also, as long as you're positive, as long as you've learned your lesson, higher learning, experiential learning, and if you learn from your experiences, especially connected to partnerships, a very auspicious time for those people who have a Gemini Jupiter. For those people who have a Cancer Jupiter. Now, why is Jupiter placed in Cancer seen to be exalted? Because of 2 or 3 reasons. One, it's placed in the sign of Cancer, the 4th house of the Kalpurush Kundali, so it expands money, assets, family, peace, satisfaction, tranquility. All of these are enhanced, expanded by Jupiter. However, from the Cancer sign with its 5th aspect, it is aspecting the Scorpio sign, the sign of transformation, the changes. So, because of the 5th aspect on Scorpio sign, through learning, through education, or getting educated in such a manner that you're able to handle transformations, changes better is this placement. So it takes control of and helps you to be able to overcome certain challenges, problems, and keeps them at bay. Jupiter's 7th aspect is on the sign where it gets debilitated. So it manages the tougher challenges that may come from your career, especially connected to people, connected to teamwork. And now this sign is going to be more important because the ruler of that sign, Saturn, the Capricorn sign, is getting into the sign of Pisces, which is the sign ruled by Jupiter. However, Saturn with its 10th aspect is going to aspect the Sagittarius sign ruled by Jupiter. So now Saturn is influencing both the Sagittarius sign and the Pisces sign ruled by Jupiter. So Saturn has a strong control on Jupiter. However, Jupiter's 9th aspect, the natal aspect, is on the Pisces sign. So Saturn's ability to be able to wreak havoc in terms of the 9th house from Jupiter's perspective is lessened. However, Saturn still has an upper hand. So if Jupiter has not been utilized well in your life, you have not utilized wisdom, you have not been kind to team members, you have not been kind in partnership, you have not been kind to your better half, you have not learned the lessons, the spiritual lessons, you have not had more faith and belief in your team, in your partner. And when Saturn goes into the Pisces sign, obviously, if you have not learned the lesson, then Saturn will teach you a lesson. So this is going to be very karmic, especially because Saturn's 10th aspect is on the Sagittarius sign in the 6th house from Jupiter's perspective. So otherwise, hidden enemies, competition will have an upper hand. But what it means is, even if you face some challenges, some confrontation at work, be very positive, because Saturn getting into the Pisces sign, the sign of positivity and creativity, innovation, imagination. So use your innovation, imagination, creativity, especially with respect to higher learning. Try and get into some educational courses where you can really upgrade yourself. And that will be very helpful because the potential given to you by virtue of Jupiter's ninth aspect being on the ninth house is the sign or the aspect of very high positive results connected to learning. So overall, this is still a good placement as long as you have managed teamwork, managed partnerships, and you have been current to what is required in your work. You have continuously tried to upgrade yourself, get new certifications, and be adept and competent in your work. Then you should be able to overcome competition and you should be able to make more assets. So overall, a pretty good placement for those people who have a Cancer Jupiter. Now, for those people who have a Leo Jupiter, which means Jupiter is placed in the sign of Jupiter is placed in the sign of Leo in your natal chart. The placement of Jupiter in Aries, Leo and Sagittarius is an overall good placement. Now, if Jupiter is in your natal chart in the Leo sign, then Jupiter's aspect is, the fifth aspect is on the Sagittarius sign, the sign of higher learning, experiential learning, but the fifth from Jupiter. So in terms of romance, investment, children, how you perform on a stage, on a platform, in presentations, in speculative investment, Jupiter will give you good results, or the potential has been given to give you good results and better results, even children. The other aspect of Saturn, of Jupiter, is on Saturn's Multikona sign with the seventh aspect. So these are important. Why they're important is because when Saturn will be transiting into the sign of Pisces, Saturn will have an upper hand because Saturn is not only getting into the sign of Pisces ruled by Jupiter, but Saturn with the 10th aspect is aspecting the Sagittarius sign, again ruled by Jupiter. So Saturn has a stronger hold on Jupiter rather than Jupiter, which is just aspecting the Multikona sign of Saturn, which is just Aquarius. So your Saturn has an upper hand. But what the message is that if in your natal chart Jupiter was placed in the Leo sign, if you've really been somebody who has led from the front, somebody who has taken a leadership role in your life, in different areas of your life, if you have been diligent and your leadership has been wise, you have utilized your Jupiter for wise decision making, especially connected to romance, investment, children, speculative investments, how you are presenting yourself to others, how you give presentations in your organization, how you present yourself on the world stage. Then Jupiter's potential is to give you good results. Then the good results will also come to you when Saturn transits into the sign of Pisces, ruled by Jupiter. However, Saturn getting into the sign of Pisces, the sign of high optimism, is that if you have been very diligent, you have been a hard worker, connected to higher learning, getting more faith and belief in your ability to work, and because of Jupiter's aspect on the 7th house, from Jupiter's perspective, but Aquarius sign ruled by Saturn, then in your teamwork, if you have been diligent, in your speculative investments, in your ability to work with people using higher learning, while being very positive, then very good results will come to you. Saturn's movement into Pisces is also telling you to continue to be very positive, creative, innovative, and then higher results and better results come to you. However, if you have not learned the lessons of Jupiter, of leadership, of teamwork, of higher learning from your experiences, then Saturn getting into the 8th house from Jupiter is going to be a tough placement because Jupiter is getting into the 6th house from Saturn then. From your natal perspective, I'm saying. So overall, if you have been diligent, you've been working hard, then finances, in your ability to change your career, in your roles, in your ability to manage partnerships, in your ability to handle romantic liaison, or ability to work with people is going to be great and give you good results. However, if you have not been working hard, if you have not been able to use wise counsel, then Saturn in the 8th house in the sign of Pisces will create sudden ups and downs and issues and problems and hurdles. However, it is still recommended you be very positive, you be very creative so that you continue to get good results and utilize Jupiter better in this transit to get better results. Now, for those people who have a Virgo Jupiter, which means Jupiter is placed in the sign of Virgo in your natal chart. So, from the sign of Virgo in your natal chart, Jupiter was aspecting the sign of Capricorn ruled by Saturn with its 5th aspect. Jupiter's 7th aspect was on its own sign of Pisces, and Jupiter's 9th aspect was on the sign of Taurus, the sign of money, nutrition, livelihood. Also what Jupiter is the Karaka of. So the potential was given to you to overcome enemies, hidden challenges, problems, sicknesses, overcome issues at work, overcome problems with bosses, with superiors. and to be able to get better results in your nutrition, in your finances, in your ability to have a good bank balance and all that. So if you utilize the energies of Jupiter well while it is in Virgo, manage your nutrition, manage your high learning, manage your ability to work with people in your work, then you will get very good results, auspicious results, specifically connected to finance and money. When Saturn gets into the sign of Pisces, which means Saturn will give you or pay you back the results of your hard work. However, if you're not managed your Jupiter well, if you're not managed your partnerships well, if you're not managed your team well, if you're not managed work well, if you're not managed your superiors well, if you're not managed to handle your money matters well, where you invest your money, how you take care of saving, then Saturn getting into the sign of Pisces will be more telling. Why? Because Saturn getting into the sign of Pisces is not only controlling one sign of ruled by Jupiter, but the other sign ruled by Jupiter with the 10th aspect, the karmic aspect, the sign of Sagittarius. Then this can be a more telling period, especially because Saturn's 10th aspect is on the 4th house. From Jupiter's perspective, the house of assets, house of conveniences. So your ability to make conveniences, add conveniences, handle assets, handle property matters, handle domestic life can be more telling because Saturn getting into the 7th house of relationships, while Jupiter's placed in the 6th sign of hidden competition, hidden enemies also. So if you have not handled relationships better, if you have not handled superiors better, if you have not handled career better, if you have not handled money better, then Saturn will be more challenging. Saturn may give you more challenging results. However, if you have done wise counsel, if you have used wise counsel, if you have used wise decision making connected to money, then Saturn will give you very good results, positive results, auspicious results. And the placement is asking you to be very positive, to be very creative, and to be very innovative, to continue in that manner, to continue to add finances, add more good results, and connected to career and bosses also. If not, then this next 2.5 years is going to be a very important period to learn and to pull up your socks, because after that Saturn will get into the Aries sign where it gets debilitated, and then the results will be more telling. Now, if you have a Libra Jupiter, which means Jupiter is placed in the sign of Libra in your natal chart, then when Saturn gets or transits into the sign of Pisces, Saturn from the sign of Pisces has more control on Jupiter, because Saturn is not only getting into the sign of Pisces ruled by Jupiter, but with its 10th aspect aspecting the Sagittarius sign also ruled by Jupiter. So now if you have Jupiter in your natal chart in Libra, Jupiter is anyhow managing to some extent the results of the Sagittarius sign because it rules it. And Jupiter also is managing the results of the 5th house with this 5th aspect, and the house, the 9th house where Gemini sign is placed with this 9th aspect. Gemini sign is the sign of communication. Jupiter's placed in Libra. So good communication, better communication, social communication, balanced communication, fairness in communication with respect to people, with respect to partnership, with respect to relationships. If you have done that, then Jupiter will give you good results, because Jupiter's 7th aspect is on the sign of Aries, where Saturn gets debilitated and will move into that in the next 2.5 years. So if you have been very balanced in your relationships and managed communication well, managed your social network well, then Saturn getting into the Pisces sign will give you very good results, will give you very auspicious results, and will also give you good results of the 3rd house of effort. So your effort will bear you fruits. Your ability to market yourself, your ability to influence others will also be very good, will give you fantastic results. However, if you have not used Jupiter wisely when connected to relationships, when connected to your communications, when connected to how you learned from your relationships and manage them, how to handle them better, how to communicate them better, especially social network, extended social network also. If you have not done that, then Saturn getting into the 6th house from Jupiter's perspective and in the sign of Pisces can be very telling. The Pisces sign is also the 12th house of the Kalpurush Kundali. So your expenses may go up, losses may come by, And there can be a break of a relationship also. And if you still don't learn the lesson over the next 2.5 years, you don't get your act right, then when Saturn gets into the Aries sign, its degradation sign, and starts aspecting your natal Jupiter in the Libra sign, then it can be even more damaging. It can be more telling. So the next 2.5 years are given to you to be very positive, because Saturn is in the sign of Pisces, a sign of positivity, a sign of creativity, innovation. So be very innovative how you deal with competition, with how you deal with those people who are against you or acting behind your back. And if you work hard and you're ready to bend your back and work hard and have more faith and belief in your relationships, because Jupiter is placed there, and manage them well, then you will get very auspicious results because of continued effort and being positive. However, if you have not learned the lesson well and over the next 2.5 years, you're not ready to bend the back, then when Saturn after 2.5 years gets into the sign of Aries, you may have both telling results. So this is a good placement for you overall to get very good results from your effort in your individual capacity, to overcome competition, to overcome challenges, make more money, have better relations, as long as you are ready to utilize the more wisdom-oriented Jupiterian energies and ready to bend your back and be more positive and creative in how you deal with others, specifically those who work below you, the underprivileged, and those who are your competition. Now, those who have Jupiter in the sign of Scorpio or a Scorpio Jupiter in a natal chart. Now, Jupiter placed in the sign of Scorpio in your natal chart, the potential given to you was for you to be able to handle ups, challenges, issues, obstructions, upheavals, transformations better because of Jupiter placed there. However, this also meant that Jupiter may be the cause of transformation, challenges, issues, where you use wisdom to be able to overcome sudden issues, sudden transformations, sudden challenges or problems. And from the Scorpio signs, Jupiter's fifth aspect was in its own sign of Pisces, seventh aspect was on the Taurus sign, second house of the Kalpurush Kundli, of which it is a Karaka, and this ninth aspect was on its sign of exaltation, the Cancer sign. So overall, this was still a pretty balanced placement because Jupiter was handling its own sign of Pisces, handling expenses, handling losses, handling sudden issues, problems, better life in foreign lands, better life in careers connected to the 12th house and connected to money because seventh aspect is on the Taurus sign. So if you're more balanced in your money matters and take or handle sudden issues, ups and downs connected to money, then you get very good results. Specifically, if you have had a very positive perspective on money, on speculative investments and so forth, and through your higher learning from your experiences. However, if you have not done that, then when Saturn transits into the sign of Pisces in a few days, then Saturn has an upper hand over Jupiter because Saturn not only is placed in one of the signs ruled by Jupiter, but is aspecting the other sign, Sagittarius sign ruled by Jupiter, with its 10th aspect, the more karmic aspect, the hard-working aspect, the service-oriented aspect. So if you have learned your lesson, then obviously Saturn getting into the sign of Pisces in the 5th house from Jupiter is going to give you very auspicious results connected to career. Specifically, role change may come by for you with an enhancement, with a growth, especially if you worked hard, and that can enhance your money, your livelihood. There can be more money in the bank because Saturn's third aspect is on the Taurus sign, the money sign, the sign of nutrition, the sign of better livelihood. So this is an overall quite a good placement if you have really worked hard and if you have been diligent and you have managed transformation and change well. Saturn getting into the 5th house, which is the 8th from the 10th house, also means that money can be enhanced with respect to your career if you have really worked hard, because Saturn also rules the 3rd house and the 4th house of assets. Overall, this is a pretty decent placement if you have managed transformation, changes, challenges in your life so far. And the next period over the 2.5 years is to be very positive and manage your affairs well. If you do that, very well and good. If not, if you don't utilize the next 2.5 years also more diligently, handling challenges, issues, transformation with wisdom, then when Saturn gets into its degradation sign in Aries sign, then may create more challenges from you, more problems for you. So this is a period of working hard, using better wisdom, working on your career, working on your team, working on your partnerships to be able to enhance the results of money, of nutrition, of livelihood, of career, so that you're better prepared when Saturn gets into the Aries sign. Now, for those people who have a Sagittarius Jupiter, which means Jupiter's placed in the sign of Sagittarius in your natal chart. So, Jupiter placed in the sign of Sagittarius is a very, very powerful placement because Jupiter is in its own Multikona sign. So, this is a very powerful and a rewarding placement. Because from the Sagittarius sign, Saturn, Jupiter also is aspecting in your natal chart the Aries sign, the 5th house from it, and the 9th house, the Leo sign from it. The placement of Jupiter in Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius is considered to be very auspicious because these three are the trine houses in the Kalpurush Kundali. So Jupiter placed in Sagittarius is giving an ability to learn from faith, from belief, high learning. The more competence you add, the better results you get. The more open-minded you are, better results you get. The more adventurous you are, the more forthcoming you are, the more ready to go distances, not only in terms of actual traveling, but also traveling in your mind. The more open-ended you are, the more you expand your learning, you get very good results. So this is the potential which was given to you. However, Saturn, for those people who have Jupiter in the Sagittarius sign, now Saturn getting into the Pisces sign, has a stronger control on the Sagittarius Jupiter by virtue of one being placed in the Sagittarius sign ruled by Jupiter, and by virtue of its 10th aspect being on the Sagittarius sign, which is ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter is placed in it in your natal chart. So Saturn's control on Jupiter is stronger because Jupiter is neither aspecting Saturn, neither aspecting the other two signs ruled by Saturn, which is Capricorn or Aquarius. So Saturn has a complete upper hand on Jupiter here. However, if you have utilized your higher learning, you have had more faith and belief, you have been more risk-taking, you have been more adventurous, connected to assets, connected to home, connected to your conveniences, connected to family, your domestic life, because Jupiter rules from its placement, the 4th house from it, which is Pisces sign ruled by itself. Then you will get fantastic results when Saturn transits into Pisces sign. Then this placement will become a placement of more control on your finances, more control on your assets, expansion in your assets, and more stability. The best thing will be very, very stable results over the next 2.5 years if you have learned the lesson, if you have really worked hard. However, if you have not done, then Saturn having the upper hand, which means then Saturn will teach you a lesson if you have not learned the lesson yourself. The 9th sign, the sign of Sagittarius, is for you to continuously learn your lesson and continuously upgrade yourself. If you have not done that, then Saturn's placement in Pisces can be more telling and will remind you how to deal with domestic life, how to deal with assets, how to deal with conveniences better. But if you have done that, if you have really worked hard, then the most stable results are coming to you. However, whatever you face, Saturn getting into the sign of Pisces, the sign of optimism, positivity, is telling you to be motivated, continue to be more positive, continue to be more optimistic in your life, and continuously upgrade yourself and work hard, because then fantastic results will come to you in terms of high learning, in terms of travel, in terms of learning from experiences, in terms of career, where Saturn is aspecting from Jupiter's perspective. Because Saturn's third aspect is also going to be on the Taurus sign with the sign of nutrition. So overall, pretty good results for Jupiter placed in the Sagittarius sign in your natal chart, as long as you worked hard for the results connected to high learning, connected to assets, and connected to domestic life and assets. For those people who have a Capricorn Jupiter in your natal chart, now we know that Jupiter gets debilitated in the Capricorn sign. Now overall, it still depends on what is the dignity of Jupiter while placed in Capricorn. Is it closest to the degree of its debilitation, or it's further away from the degree of debilitation, and is it involved in some yogas? Is it under debilitation cancellation? Are there any auspicious aspects on it? Or are there any negative aspects on it? And so on and so forth. However, this is a very karmic placement for Jupiter in Capricorn sign, because Jupiter in Capricorn, which means in today's time that this is not the more positive Jupiter. This is a Jupiter which learns from uprisings in your career, or challenges, or sudden upsurts in your career, problems in your career, specifically connected to seniors. So usually people who have Jupiter in the Capricorn sign will not be getting the highest appreciation and acknowledgement from their seniors. So this, from that perspective, can be a challenging placement. But the potential given to you is also to use your wisdom where connected to career is concerned, where you connected to seniors is concerned. And Jupiter's aspect from Capricorn sign, its fifth aspect, from there is on the Taurus sign of livelihood, of higher money, which means if you work hard, if you handle challenges at work with wisdom, handle seniors at work with wisdom, then you may be able to get more money, but you may have to take some risks because the Taurus sign is the fifth house from Jupiter. That is the potential given to you. And Jupiter's ninth aspect is on the Virgo sign, which is the sixth house in the Kalpurush, only the sign of challenges, competition, hidden enemies, sicknesses. So if you have a weak Jupiter, or if you have not handled Jupiter well, then you will have issues or problems connected to money, upheavals in money, upheavals in loans, upheaval in debts, loans, and upheavals when sitting for competitive exams, and upheavals when trying to overcome competition. However, if you've really worked hard and if you've done very well in those or managing those, then when Saturn gets into the Pisces sign, your Saturn has an upper hand because of two reasons. One, Saturn is not only placed in the Pisces sign ruled by Jupiter, but Saturn with its 10th aspect is also aspecting the Sagittarius sign ruled by Jupiter. While Jupiter is placed in the Capricorn sign, the sign of degradation, which Saturn rules. So if you have not learned the lesson in terms of your health, in terms of money, in terms of how to handle those people who work below you or competition, then this can be a very telling placement when Saturn gets into the Pisces sign. However, if you have been very diligent, you have worked hard on your relationships with authority figures, with superiors, you have been more diligent in your investments, in your money matters, you have been very diligent in your health, in your diet, you have been very diligent how you deal with people who are below you or who even your equals, but who are more in competition to you, then Saturn will give you very good results, will give you very positive results and very stable results when it gets into the Pisces sign. However, if you have not done that, then Saturn having an upper hand because of it being in Pisces sign and also aspecting with its 10th aspect, the Sagittarius sign, will have more challenges connected to money, connected to long distance travel, connected to higher learning, connected to foreign lands, connected to your spending. All of these will undergo challenges and you'll have to work hard because Saturn is in the third house from Jupiter. But Saturn is also aspecting with the third aspect, the sign of Taurus. So then you'll have to work harder for money, work harder in change in role, work harder for change in career, work harder to change a job, work harder if you are a student or going for higher certification, work harder if you're working in foreign lands and connected to the careers of the 12th house. But if you're being diligent, then you will get very, very good results, will get very positive results. However, whatever may be the results, the placement of Saturn in Pisces sign is asking you to be more optimistic, to be very motivated, to continue to work hard. Because if you do that, then over the next 2.5 years, you are given a second chance of improving your results before Saturn gets into the debilitation sign in the Aries. And from there, Saturn will be directly aspecting with Jupiter, with the 10th aspect Jupiter in the debilitation sign in your chart, then can be a very tough placement. So use the next 2.5 years because some auspicious results are surely coming to you and more if you have managed your finances, your higher learning, your you're learning from experiences, try to have better relations with superiors, then very auspicious results surely coming for those people who have Jupiter in the Capricorn sign. For those people who have an Aquarius Jupiter, which means Jupiter is placed in the sign of Aquarius in your natal chart. Now, this is a very karmic placement because Jupiter placed in the Aquarius sign which is the Multikona sign of Saturn. So Jupiter is to a strong extent, to a large extent, is controlling it's given the potential to manage social network, manage masses, expand your ability to have better relations in your social network, expand your ability to deal more with people, expand your ability to have better connection with other departments if you're working. That potential has been given to you. The other potential has been given to you. Saturn with this fifth aspect is aspecting a Gemini sign, the sign of communication, and the fifth from it, the house of effort also in the Kalpurush Kundli. And with the 7th aspect, the sign of Leo, the sign of leadership. So ability to expand leadership and using your wisdom connected to masses and then to do very well. And Jupiter with his 9th aspect is on the sign of Libra. So learning from your experiential learning, having more faith and belief in relations, and then expanding the results to get very good results. Maybe even traveling far and wide to have better relations, better results in your 11th house of masses also, because Jupiter is also placed in the sign of masses, in sign of Aquarius, and Jupiter rules the 11th house from its placement, from its natal placement, Sagittarius sign. So you will be getting good results when Saturn transits into Pisces sign. Why? Because Saturn not only is getting into the Pisces sign ruled by Jupiter, but Saturn also will be aspecting with his 10th aspect the Sagittarius sign, the Multikona sign of Jupiter. So Saturn's control over Jupiter is stronger connected to Jupiter's placement in Aquarius sign, the Multikona sign of Saturn. So what it means is if you really worked hard in your social network, been diligent in your communication, worked hard on how you expand your social network, worked hard on how you manage your relationships, worked hard on learning in your relationship, learning and being more competent on how to handle relationship better, and then utilize that to help masses to be able to contribute more, then you will get very auspicious results when Saturn gets into the Pisces sign, because Saturn will be aspecting with his 10th aspect the Sagittarius sign, the 11th house from Jupiter's perspective. So very auspicious results will come to you. Saturn will expand income, the ability to be able to save more money, to be able to control your expenses, to be able to control the better life or the quality of life while still managing within your budget. So this can be very auspicious results. However, if you have not learned your lesson, if you have not done well in your communication, if you have not handled your relationships well, if you have not handled leadership situations very well, opportunities well, then Saturn can be very telling. Then Saturn will influence your ability to make money, to save more money, and to continuously gain from your social network. But if you have done that, then Saturn will provide you with very good results in the Pisces sign. But whatever results you face, Saturn is asking you to continue to work hard, but be very positive, be very optimistic, because the Pisces sign is the sign of optimism. So continue to be very positive, be very optimistic. Don't lose your heart, because over the next 2.5 years, some degree of relief will be given to you with respect to money, with respect to your ability to save more money, enhance your bank balance. That surely will be given to you as long as you continue to use your communication, your ability to work with people, ability to balance communication, social communication, and ability to work with social network better. If not, then there's going to be more challenge from high expenses, sudden expenses, eating into your bank balance, and all that will happen. So the next 2.5 years are surely given to you as an opportunity to either gain, if you've already worked hard, or learn your lessons and improve on these areas. If not, then when Saturn gets into the Aries sign, the sign of its debilitation, from there it may give you more challenges, more problems if you have not learned the lesson, while Saturn remains in Pisces over the next 2.5 years. Now, if you have a Pisces Jupiter, which means you have Jupiter in the sign of Pisces in your natal chart, this is a very auspicious position overall, because the Pisces sign is also the 12th house of the Kalpurush Kundli. This is also one of the salvation or the moksha houses. It's a fantastic placement. And if Jupiter is placed in the sign of Pisces in your natal chart, the potential given to you is to use your wisdom to overcome challenges, problems, issues of the 12th house connected to foreign lands, connected to your spending, connected to waste, connected to not having the ability to be able to manage losses, issues, problems better. This could also be a placement where you are an individual role rather than a more teamwork or a very senior leadership role. However, placed in the Pisces sign, Jupiter's 5th aspect is on the Cancer sign, which is the sign of its exaltation. So the ability or the potential given to Jupiter is that enhance your ability to be able to have better romances, better speculative investments, better change in career through higher learning, because the 10th house from Jupiter's perspective is ruled by its own sign of Sagittarius. So if you have used and you have been able to expand your ability to have a better rapport with seniors, with authority figures, with bosses, then your ability to get more gains, even change of job or role, utilizing your better rapport, better connection with superiors and your authority figures is given to you. The potential has been given to you. And Jupiter's 7th aspect on the Virgo sign, the sign of enemies, hidden challenges, competition. So the ability to use your ability to be able to present yourself well. The 5th house is also the house of presentation, how you present yourself to others, the world stage, and the Cancer sign. So in an empathetic manner, in a supporting manner, and then manage and overcome competition, overcome hidden enemies, but also those people who work below you. So that potential is given to you. And the 9th aspect is on the Scorpio sign, the sign of transformation. So transformation through higher learning, transformation through situation learning, the potential has been given to you, specifically connected to career, because the 10th house from Jupiter's perspective is ruled by itself. However, if you have not done that, if you're not able to manage your people who are working below you better, not able to transform yourself through higher learning, not able to utilize your ability to work with people or communicate with people in an empathetic, supporting manner, then when Saturn gets into the sign of Pisces over your natal Jupiter, then it can be a more telling time, because Saturn's influence on Jupiter is stronger. Because Pisces is the sign of Jupiter and Saturn is getting into it, but Saturn will also be aspecting with the 10th aspect, the 10th house from Jupiter, the Sagittarius sign, the Mool Trikona sign of Jupiter. So here, Saturn will have an upper hand. So if you have not managed support, empathy, ability to take care of people, ability to be able to handle relationships better, ability to handle competition better, ability to handle people who are competing with you or competing with you in a balanced manner, not learn from your transformation, not learn through changes, through upgrade yourself, to have more faith and belief, and also to learn from your experiences. If you have not done that, then career and health can be something which Saturn can be more telling on you. However, if you really worked hard on these results, then Saturn can give you excellent results when it gets into Pisces, because the Pisces sign is also the sign of optimism, the sign of high motivation. So it will give you very good results connected to overcoming challenges or problems, connected to competition, connected to have more balance in your team, have more balance in your relationship, very good results and more stability in your career over the next 2.5 years, get better results with the superior authority figures. Also money, because Saturn with the 3rd aspect is going to aspect the 3rd house, but the sign of Taurus, the sign of money, nutrition. Saturn will give you overall fantastic results. However, if you have not utilized high learning, ability to work with people, overcome competition in a wise manner, then Saturn can be very telling, can be very damaging. However, whatever the results are, the transit of Saturn into Pisces is asking you to be very optimistic, to be very positive, because the Pisces sign is the sign of positivity. So use the next 2.5 years to be able to enhance your ability to work with people, to work with competition, to show more empathy and care, and then be better prepared for results coming by over the next 2.5 years. If not, then when Saturn gets into its debilitation sign in the 2nd house, from Jupiter's perspective, the 2nd house of income, higher income, then it can be very, very telling. High expenses can come by for you, and social network and ability to work with people can be very drastically damaged. So use the next 2.5 years to be more positive, to work hard, and continue to be optimistic, and continue to show a caring, empathetic attitude, and continue to learn from your transformation to be able to get better results. So friends, now that we have discussed from Jupiter's natal position in your natal chart, when Saturn is translating into the Pisces sign, aspecting your Sagittarius sign, what kind of potential results will come by for you? Please do look into the other aspects, whether Jupiter is in a dosha, in a yoga, in its conjunction, and based on that, to be able to fathom this transit better. So friends, like this video, share this video, and if you're looking for a consultation from me, please reach out to me. The links given below. Until some other time with some other video, this is your friend astrologer and guide signing off. Ciao.